Happy Friday, y'all. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Deborah. Hey, sis. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Thank you. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Hope you've already had a fantastic Friday and that it is continuing and that it continues into a wonderful weekend. That's to each and every one of you guys. That's to each and every one of you who come through this live. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Catherine with friends. Hey, sis. Hey, Queenin. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Queenin. Hey, ladies. Thank you for coming into the live. We're just working out. Use what you got. Use what you got. You don't have to buy that equipment. Use what you got. Okay? Hey, Queenin. Happy furry day, love. How those fur babies doing, Queenin? Thank you guys for coming in and thank you for saying hello. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Look, I hope you had a great week. And listen, whatever happened this week, okay, you made it to Friday, right? So whatever happened this week, if there's still some leftover things going on that happened from this past week, from the week before, or from the week before that, we got to pray our way through it, okay? We've got to pray our way through it. That's what we got to do, okay? We got to power walk on through, right? We got to power walk on through. So, look, whatever happened, we got to grab those bootstraps and we got to pull ourselves up as best as possible. And look, and we got to rely on family sometimes. That's what I love about Deborah and Miss Catherine. They, sisterly love is everything. Right? Sometimes we don't always get along with family, but let me tell you, family is everything, okay? Family is everything. Hey, Betty. Hey, Retirement Days. Welcome to the chat. How you doing? Welcome, ladies. Family is everything. So, sometimes you gotta rely on family, okay? You may not want to, but sometimes you got to, okay? I know sometimes we can be stubborn. But look, let me tell you, at the end of the day, the arguments, the fussing, and the fighting that we do with family, most of the times, guess what? It boils down to love. Who do you argue with and fuss with the most? You don't want to argue and fuss with anybody. But a normal human being will argue and fuss with family the most because that's where most of the love is, right? That's where most of the love is. You love hard. And when you love hard, you argue hard. When you love hard, you often fight hard. Sometimes it's because you knock heads because you're so much alike that you don't want to admit. Sometimes you knock heads because you're totally different. So a lot of times people say they're so much alike, that's why they don't get along. That could be true. But a lot of times people who are completely different don't get along, right? It's just based on personality. It's just all based on personality. Hey, Vanessa. Hey, my bro. Hey, Chef Finest Wine. Y'all know I got to pause and stop, okay? When Chef Finest Wine walks in the building, okay? That's my bro. I love him like he's blood. So let me know how everything has been going. Look, today is Friday, right? Freaky Friday. Forget about it Friday. There's some things that happen you might want to forget about. There's some things that happen you might want to discuss. Don't get too personal, but use this chat today. Use this live as a place to kind of vent if you want to. See, a lot of times we don't allow each other the space to vent, right? You don't want to feel too comfortable, like you don't want to overshare, but you can feel comfortable enough to just vent. Talk about what happened this week. Talk about if somebody rubbed you the wrong way. Talk about if something good happened. Did you find some money? Right, Queena? Yep. Yeah. Like, a lot of times something good can happen. Did you find some money? Did somebody do a good deed for you? Did you do a good deed for somebody? Tell me something good. Did somebody buy you lunch? Did you buy somebody lunch? What happened this week that you want to share? Greetings to everyone in the chat, says Queen. I found a few quarters. Hey, Queen, it's money. It all boils down to money. Queen says she found a few quarters. Thank you for those likes, guys. I appreciate them. The likes encourage us and they motivate us. And I appreciate them. I won't beat you up about the likes. I won't fuss and harp on the likes. But I will say they are much needed. They are much appreciated. But that's not the only way you can support. You're supporting me just by being here. Sometimes people forget to double tap the screen. Sometimes people, if they're on their laptop or whatever, their tablet, they forget to go up to those 3 buttons and tap it. But guess what? Some people just don't like to hit like. If you dislike it, it's all going to count for some type of way, right? So you can subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Once you subscribe, do me a favor and ring my doorbell. It's better known as the YouTube notification bell, right? Hit it. I would appreciate it. See, this right here helps your knees. This helps your knees. Boom, 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 boom. This helps your knees. Now, if your knees are really, really bad, what do I always tell you guys? Before starting, restarting, or implementing any workout regimen, routine, plan, contact your primary healthcare provider, okay? Contact your primary healthcare provider, whether it's your nurse, your doctor, your nurse practitioner, your physician's assistant, okay? Your physical therapist, your occupational therapist, your nutritionist, your dietitian, your specialty doctors. Sometimes, just like you have an eye doctor, ear doctor, we have specialty doctors. Everybody needs to be on the same page. Everybody needs to be on one accord. I always say they lock arm in arm around you. Think of them as an atom, and you are the nucleus of that atom. And it all is supposed to, benefit you. If you're working out, you get tired, slow down or stop. Slow down or stop. It's not a competition, right? You shouldn't be trying to keep up with your sister, your brother, your neighbor, your frenemy, your friend, your enemy. It's about your health and wellness, your fitness, your frame of mind, okay? Hey, Wave. Hey, Shawanda. Hey, ladies, everybody that I miss. Y'all know when I be talking, I got to watch where I'm going, okay? Because people say it's some people say, can you walk and chew gum at the same time, right? Let me tell you, can you walk and talk at the same time? Can you? It's easy to walk and talk at the same time, but when you're trying to get it in, sometimes you got to walk and talk. You got to pay attention to your surroundings. You got to keep your head on the swivel, right? So you got to come around to the chat. And I appreciate you guys. That's why I encourage you to have conversation in the chat. It's good vibes over here, okay? We're all here to get along, okay? If you happen to run into somebody in this chat that you do not click with, just talk to the people that you do click with, okay? Talk to the people that you do click with. Everybody is welcome as long as they're on a positivity, okay? Positive vibes only. Wave speaking to everybody. I see Catherine saying yes. Queen is saying yep. Vanessa speaking back. Chef says hit that like button. Okay, the 3 dots at the top right corner. The top right corner. Okay. And if you don't know, if you can walk and talk, that's a great thing. All right. But listen, if that's too much, just make sure you walk. Okay. Don't overexert yourself. Walking and talking is great, right? And if you got to slow down to walk and talk, that's fine. You will build up your stamina. Okay, your endurance will increase. All right. The most important thing is I want you to walk. And you don't just have to, you can do a lot of things. There are so many things you can do, not just walking. You can walk, you can skip, you can jog. But see, if I jog, my phone will go all over the place, right? You can get on your elliptical. You can get on your treadmill. You can get on your bicycle right around the neighborhood. Get on your stationary bike. All right? Get up and dance. Get up and dance. Get up and get on your mini stepper. Get on your mini stepper. Okay? You can go mountain climbing if you have that in your area. Right? And just look at that. Look at these mushrooms, y'all. Look at that. Look at those mushrooms. I don't know what it is about mushrooms, but I love seeing mushrooms. Those look like they've been up a while. They've either been up a while or that sun is just really cooking them. You know, you can play tennis, you can go swimming, you know, you can skip, jog, run. There are a plethora of things that you can do to help contribute to your cardiovascular fitness. Your heart is a muscle, right? And just like every other muscle, you need to work it. You want to work it, but you don't want to overdo it, okay? You don't want to overdo it. And we drop information over here. This channel is for informational purposes only. If you see me do something over here, say something over here, don't you do it, okay? And if you do so at your own risk. Do so at your own risk. Make sure you talk to one of those primary healthcare providers that I mentioned earlier, okay? And I appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming through here. Queen says, how are you? Love to travel with Wave. And she says that she is good, Queen. She is good, Queen. Shawanda, I see people speaking to Shawanda. Where is she? Let me stop for a second. Hey, everybody. Okay, there she is. Hey, Shawanda. Thank you for coming to the chat. Thank each and every one of you guys for coming. Each and every one of you individually. Because you could be doing so many other things. And most likely, if you're like me, you do multitask, right? So thank you for allowing me to be one of your tasks. Okay? Thank you for allowing me to be one of your tasks. So we're getting in this evening walk, this brisk walk. You want to walk briskly, okay? You want to make it count. But if you can't do that yet, don't worry about it. That's okay. You can walk as slow as you need to. Because guess what? As long as you're consistent, consistency is key. As long as you're consistent, it will work up. You will build up to a faster speed, a faster pace, okay? It'll build up. What's Catherine talking about? Yeah, Catherine's something else. What's she say about poison? Wait a minute. Catherine said poison. Catherine, what you talking about? Y'all know Catherine be having me cracking up. Queen says, I bought a walking pad to use when the weather, when the weather doesn't permit. Yes, Queen. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. You know, just something to keep you going. Something to help contribute to that cardiovascular fitness. You know, and you guys, I always say personalized and professional disclaimer. You know, when I say to contact your primary healthcare providers, I say that, I've been saying it like 2 years now, and I mean that. Because there are so many people on here with false information or like just acquired information from what they hear other people saying. They'll take a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and they really haven't done their research to know the correct information to be disseminating to the masses. Because when we do these lives, believe it or not, it may not be 200 people in here, but you never know how many people will end up seeing the video. So you want to make sure that you're disseminating good information. Information that, one, let the people know that it works for you. Two, let them know that you're generally speaking. Three, it's informational purposes only. Okay, what works for one may not work for everyone, right? But some of the things that we talk about, it may work for you. It may work for your friend. It may work for your enemy. It may work for your frenemy. It may work for your church member. It may work for your coworker. It may work for your classmate. It may work for any of your other peers. So we're just dropping nuggets over here. That's what we do. We drop nuggets, diamonds, rubies, and pearls. All right, we drop nuggets, diamonds, rubies, and pearls. And you guys pick them up. Okay? You drop them too. I drop them, you drop them. I pick them up, you pick them up, and we take them and we get those nuggets. And we take those nuggets and we do research, right? And make sure you're researching through reputable sources. Reputable sources. The .orgs, the .govs, the .education, .edu. So you want to make sure that it's that they're reputable sources. Now, I don't know how some people feel about the .govs, but look, I'm telling you, we want to make sure that we're using reputable sources, okay? Those mushrooms, okay. You were talking about those mushrooms. Those mushrooms are poison. Yeah, don't eat those. Don't eat those that you just see growing in the yards. Yep. Quinn says, I'm definitely not a winter person, especially when it snows. I can still walk in the house. Yeah, that's why I say there's so many ways. You know, and even when it's hot, Quinn, if it's too hot to be outside for you walking, a lot of people don't tolerate the hot temperatures well. Walk around your house. Just like go to a gym. If you don't want to go to the gym, you want to save money, get you a mini stepper, get you a treadmill, again, a bike and elliptical. You can buy them as a combination set. You know, you can walk around the biggest room in your house for your exercise. You can walk around every room in your house. Walk laps, okay? And if it is kind of warm and you do want to just kind of get outside a little bit, walk around your house. Or don't go too far. Walk around the block, and so that when you get too hot, you can run right back in there under that AC. You can go right back in there and get under that AC. But if you just really don't like being outside, or you really don't like the heat at all, of course, stay in your air-conditioned home and walk around every room in your house, or get the biggest room in your house, or go into your garage and just do laps. Do laps, or like Rock Just Living suggested a long time ago over here, she said walk in place. If you don't have a mini stepper, just walk in place. You know, get you a Fitbit. Get you a Fitbit. Doesn't have to be real expensive, but make sure you get something that's nice. You know, something that won't, because some of those things, the battery runs down so quickly. Like, get you one that goes around the wrist, okay? Get you a Fitbit or some type of watch, or use your phone. If you can have your phone attached to you, get one of those apps. And just, you know, some people start out by counting their steps, you know, and some people just want to know what their heart rate is as they're exercising. And just use those. Use those to help you get along. Let's see. I'm about to look at these comments. Let's see. Those mushrooms, put them down and pick them up. Yes, yes. After I walk, do I eat? No. I usually walk before, because walking can help you with digestion, right? Walking can help you with digestion. Now, I'm not going to say everybody doesn't eat. Now, I will get like sometimes a protein shake or something, maybe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or just a peanut butter and crackers, something like that. Grape juice. There are certain things I will eat after, but I don't eat a full meal. No, I don't eat a meal. I use fitness app. Yeah, Queenie. That's like great. My son put a gym in the garage. I use that a few times, a few weeks when I'm off from work. Yeah, you know, and sometimes you may not be every day, right? But when I say consistency, you know, it just depends on our work schedules. Consistency can be, some people consistency is every other week. But the goal is to make sure that you want to do it at least, you know, there's nothing wrong with cardiovascular activity every day, you know, because our hearts, like I said, it's a muscle as well. And you want to work it. You want to work your body, but make sure you don't hurt your body, right? So again, always talk with your primary healthcare provider, because you may have issues or something like that. And he may say, yes, I do want you to walk. Or she may say, yes, I do want you to walk. I want you to get some cardiovascular fitness, but I don't want you to overdo it. Because some people just overdo it. They start off trying to go hard, and then they feel defeated because they start off trying to go too hard, too fast. So consistency could be like twice a week if you're just starting out, 2 to 3 times a week. I always say strive for 5. Strive for 5. Now, y'all going to hear that somewhere else, because y'all know I try to be original over here. I try to come up with little monikers and little things that I say. But every time I do that, I look around, I see somebody saying the same thing I say. I'm like, we can all walk, right? But why y'all got to be carbon copying me? Don't be doing that. I like trying to be original for my chat. I like being original for my chat. There are a lot of things that I say that you don't hear anywhere else until you hear it from me. What do I do, y'all? Walking, exercising to me is like what? Eating. My warm-up is my appetizer. My workout is my entree. My cool down is my dessert, right? And most days I come on here, and the good thing about the dessert is most people love a good dessert. So I come on here and I get a second dessert. Because see, I worked out earlier today, right? I warmed up, worked out, and cooled down. And so I come on here to network and to talk with y'all and to go live. You know, that's just what I made my channel about. So that's why I said, let's walk and talk in Lions Pride. Okay? Okay? So you just have to figure out things that work for you. You can take keys and cues from other people, but try to be original. Try to do something different. Get out and walk and squat. Boom. 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 Queenie says, right, true. Then end up hurting themselves going hard in the beginning. Right, Queenie, they'll go so hard in the beginning. And then it's like, they go so hard in the beginning, and it gets to be too much, and that starts to discourage them. That starts to discourage them. And I mean, I knew somebody who was in the military, right? But they had been out of the military for like 10 years. So you haven't been getting up at 5 o'clock every morning jogging like you used to do. And you really haven't been doing it. Maybe for about 2 or 3 years after they got out, they did it. But for maybe like the next 5 or 6 years, 7 years, they weren't doing it. And you think just because you decide, okay, I'm gonna start back working out today, that you can just jump up and start back running again? You can, but you have to ease your way into it. You can't do it the way you did it on the last day of that you were in the military. You can't do it the way that you did it a year or two when you first got out. You have to ease your way back into it. It's like it's hard to get people to see that that is the main reason some people get discouraged. They try to take on too much too fast. Too much too fast too soon. So whether you've ever trained or not, athletes train yearly. Yeah, they take breaks, but when we see these people in the Olympics and things like that, do you think, or if people that do certain types of certain marathons, they probably do some type of workout daily every day, but they have that time frame where they go hard because even they have to get back into certain form, they have to do so much training to get back and get ready and prepared for the work that's going to take them to complete that marathon. Yes, baby steps. Catherine says, they say a person that copy is a compliment. It is kind of to a degree, Catherine, but it's like when you go and you hear them saying everything that you say verbatim, it's like, my mom and daddy taught me to be original. You know what I'm saying? To be me. To try, like everybody and their mama out here walking, right? So we started watching everybody just doing the same thing. So I want to bring something a little bit different to it. And each person that does it should bring something a little different to it. Because we're all going to probably kind of give you some of the same information. But you want to do it in a different way. Because I'm not going to sit here. That's just like, I like to watch out-of-body mechanics. I like to watch those type of videos. If I see somebody and they're kind of like in that area, some people call it a sector. Some people just say an area of YouTube. I like to say an area. If I see 2 or 3 people start to do the exact same thing, I'm like, telling me the exact same thing. Now, to a degree, they're going to tell me some of the same things because it's out-of-body mechanics. But if they're doing it the same way, they're not bringing any juice to it, any difference to it, any originality to it, eventually, you're going to get tired of that. So I like to try to keep it different and keep it, just keep it me. And then you go and you see somebody else trying to repeat what you say verbatim. And then when you say something about it, they try to switch it up a little bit, but you can tell they're not well versed or they don't have a lot of knowledge about it, because when they try to switch it up a little bit, they use improper terms. They use the incorrect terms. And then they start to say crazy stuff that sounds a little bit crazy. So that's why I always say we have to get continuing education credits for the stuff that we do on our jobs, right? Not everybody, but certain fields. We have to go to certain classes, even though we work. It's like we're in school every couple of years to get refreshed, because information changes daily, right? Science changes daily. Research changes daily. So when we come and we say certain things, and we've been trained and schooled and educated and passed certain certifications, and then to hear somebody else come out here who doesn't do anything, who doesn't practice what they preach. Like I tell people, go to the doctor. Not just to go talk to your healthcare provider about exercising, but go and get your checkups, go and get your physicals. And then you hear somebody saying some of the stuff that you say, and they don't even go and do that. It's like, how can you, that's kind of hypocritical to me. I'm not going to tell anybody to do something that I don't do. You see, I'm not going to tell anybody to do something like I do. Most people don't like to go to the doctor. Most people don't like to get their checkups. But as logical thinking, rational human beings, you know that you should at least go once or twice a year. At least once or twice a year. After a certain age, maybe every 4 months. Every 4 months. You get the check, you get a clean bill of health, or you get issues that are managed. Your doctor will tell you how often to come. But I sometimes see people telling people to do certain things, and they feel like they saying, oh, that's how I do it. Don't you do it, that's how I do it. Man, come on, be a little bit more, have a little bit more tact, and be a little bit more ethical than that. If you're gonna encourage others to do something, then you do it. Or make sure that you do it at least halfway, Yeah, Queen, like make sure you do it at least halfway. It's just like when we talk to our kids. Now we're talking about adults, but I think of it in the same theory. When you tell your kids, do as I say, not as I do. So if you're sitting there and you puffing, day in and day out, and you telling your 13-year-old to do as you say and not as you do, Come on now. That 13-year-old is eventually going to want to puff, 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 even if it's just to try it out. They may not like it and they may not keep doing it, but you got a 13, 14, 12-year-old, 17-year-old, they're going to want to do it, right? Right. Because they see you doing it. You're telling them not to do it, but they see you doing it. They're going to want to do it. They're going to want to do it. So, women, next month is October. You know, there are different awarenesses each month, right? There are different awarenesses each month. So whatever, and most months have more than one. You know, we have mental health awareness. I think it's like we have mental health awareness in the States, and then we have another World Health Awareness Day. I think that's coming up in October or November. I think it's in November. We have men's health awareness. So there are different health awarenesses that come up each month. Check Google it, see what awareness is for the month of September, October, November, December. And see those things and share those things, you know, with your family and friends. Encourage people to go and whatever awareness it is, to go get their tests, get their labs, or whatever they need to do, right? You should have a set of labs done. Honestly, I say once a year at minimum, but probably generally twice a year, just to make sure you're fully hydrated. If nothing else, you want to look at your potassium, your sodium, your magnesium, you know, things like that, your chloride levels. Make sure they're okay. Those are the things that'll show, you know, if you're hydrated. Certain things will show different functions of your body, and if something's a little high or a little low, or if it's normal. You want to get your cholesterol checked, your glucose checked. You want to check those things out. Yes, Queenie. Yes, Vanessa. You want to get those things checked. Queenie says some jobs, particularly in some medical fields, requires every 6 to 12. Yes. Yep. Your job does every 6 to 12 months. Exactly, Queenie. You have to be educated, and you have to get continuing education so that you'll know what you're doing at work, you know, and so that if you're, you know, giving out information or spreading information, you want to be on top of the latest information there is available, you know. And so that education is so that we can perform our jobs correctly, at least by the knowledge that they have at the current time. Because, you know, things change. Sometimes things that we've been doing for years, they find out maybe you need to do it a different way. Maybe you don't need to do that anymore and you need to do something else. You know, there's just different things. And that's what that's the reason for the continuing education. So it just kind of really rubs me the wrong way when I see people who don't get any education at all. And some people feel like Google is their college. Some people feel like Google is their college. If Google said it, it's 100% facts. You know, if Google said it, and if Google said a certain research hospital said it, then it's 100% facts. And then they'll go and look at the date down at the bottom, and they'll see when it was last updated. And if it was last updated at some point during this year, you can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them nothing. Yes, a yearly blood panel, a CMP, complete metabolic panel, or at least a BMP, a basic metabolic panel. Yeah, so just get that once a year. And, you know, depending on the results, the doctor will have you maybe come back again, or maybe you're good for another year. You know, but nobody's trying to force you to go to the doctor. But a lot of times when people end up finding out that they have hypertension, God forbid, or the cholesterol is a little out of whack, the numbers are out of that, the first thing they want to say, I don't want no medicine. Well, are you going to exercise? Are you going to change your eating habits? Are you going to do something consistently and be persistent about it? Because, and then if you do it, don't expect for those things to change overnight, and don't expect for those things to change in a week's time or a month's time. Sometimes it might take 3 months for some, depending on what the levels are. It may take 6 months. It might take like a year. You know, you just never know. It might take a couple of years. And guess what? Even if it stays up a little bit and you have to take medication for it, if you have started to exercise, you're still doing yourself a favor. Okay, you're still doing yourself a favor. And like I said, you don't have to exercise every day. Just do cardio, some type of cardio activity 2 to 3 times a week minimum. And for those who end up enjoying it, sometimes the more you do, the more you'll want to do. And you'll eventually increase to 5 days a week, maybe even 7 days a week. And with your weight training, your strength training, some do every other day, upper body, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, lower body, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, off on Sunday. Some people take 2 days off. You know, some people take 3 days off. They do Monday, Wednesday, upper body, Tuesday, Thursday, lower body, and all days they do their cardiovascular. So it's just what works for you, you know, depending on your schedule. We know a lot of people have kids, they have grandkids, they have nieces and nephews. Of course, you have your spouse, your loved ones, your significant others, your family. So I always just try and find a time at some point during the day to make time to do it. Yes, it requires some work, Queenie. Yes, code of ethics needs to be a course in every workplace. What's your thoughts? It does. It definitely needs to be. I think code of ethics needs to be on YouTube, because a lot of times these people on YouTube are out here saying things, and a lot of them are correct. Don't get me wrong. A lot of them are giving out correct information, but you can tell the ones who aren't. And as a content creator, some people come into my chat, and then I see them leave my chat, and I see them start to put like twist on certain things that I say, because I ain't gonna lie, I'll call it out like, okay, they're over there repeating me verbatim. And when I say that, I know that they're continuing to come into the chat, because the next couple of days, they'll try to switch it up a little bit. And I know that they're not knowledgeable on the subject by the things that they say, because they find themselves trying to say the correct words, and at the same time, trying to use different words that are correct. And it's like, it's just so funny to me. It's funny, but it's not funny. And that's why I only go into so much on here. I don't go into detail, because as we say, this is informational, educational purposes only, right? We're just dropping nuggets. Over here, I don't professionally, medically, or clinically assess, diagnose, treat, or evaluate anyone. We just drop nuggets. We tell each other the things that work for us, in hopes that maybe you can pick up some of those nuggets, right? And see if some of those nuggets can work for you or your family and friends. That's what we're doing. We're dropping nuggets over here. Rubies, diamonds, and pearls, and, you know, all types of nuggets, okay? Platinum, gold, silver. We're just dropping nuggets. It's for informational purposes only, so that you can say, hey, I heard them say this over there. I heard Lion say this, or somebody in Lion's chat said that. Now, they didn't tell me that it'll work for sure, but let me look this up. Then you look it up, again, from a reputable source. You can't just take whatever anything on Google says, right? Because sometimes people pay to be at the top of the search engine. Like if you say, I want to look up how long does it take to grow grapes in the wintertime or something like that. The first one you see may not be the most accurate one, because a lot of times people will pay just to get their stuff seen first, right? Quentin says, it requires some work. I agree. Catherine says, that's right. I am funded with all those meds. I told my doctor I would not be an older woman taking 5 and 6 different pills just because you have to now your body. Just because you have to now your body. And see, the thing about it is, if certain things like your blood pressure, for instance, is staying elevated, and you've been exercising and it's just not working to get it down, to help it get, or it's getting it down, but maybe not down enough, you're still in the high risk area, then, you know, you and your doctor have to have that conversation about what meds you're going to take. And I know nobody likes to take meds, but just have that conversation with him about which meds are known to help your situation for your race. There are certain medications that are better for certain races and not so good for other races. Better for men, not for women. Better for women, not for men. What dosage? You know, you can negotiate. You may not want to take it. See if starting off with the lowest dosage is fine. If you're going to exercise and you're going to stay committed to being consistent and persistent about being consistent, maybe you can start off with the 2.5 milligram, the 5 milligram instead of 20 milligrams. And then you'll start, if you start to see it come down, hopefully that 5, that 2.5, that 5, maybe that 7 milligrams, 7.5 will maintain you. And you don't have to take so much. Maybe you can do it twice a day. And maybe you can get it down so low that the doctor will experiment and say, okay, we're going to taper you off of this. Usually they taper you off most meds. We're going to slowly go from 3 times a day to 2 times a day this week, then once a day this week, and see if we can take you off. And then your next appointment, you should have been off for 2.5 months. And we're going to see what that cholesterol number looks like. We're going to see what that blood pressure number looks like. And if it's looking good, hey, you may wean yourself off of the medication. You may wean yourself off of the medication. Yes, you need to know your body. Yes, you need to know your body. I was trying to get there. I was trying to figure out what that was. Queen says, people also use G to diagnose themselves too. Yes, yeah, yep. Sometimes you do, Queen, and people are trying to diagnose themselves. And it's like Catherine said, you know how you feel. You know your body as far as how you feel. But that's why you have to go to the doctor, because sometimes people feel great, but those numbers might not look great. So if you feel good, yes, you know your body, but make sure you're getting your regular appointments, because blood pressure is called the silent whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So sometimes you're feeling good, but it hasn't affected you long enough to make you feel bad. So that's why getting your checkups, getting your screenings is important, so that you can know what your numbers are. If you're like, why is that high and I don't feel like it? Because that's just kind of how things go. So he's going to say, okay, we'll wait 2 weeks, wait a month, come back and see what it is then. Okay, and some people, they'd rather roll with well, you know, when you go to the doctor's office, your blood pressure goes up anyway. True. But be honest with yourself. Do you have a blood pressure cuff at home? Do you go to the local pharmacy and check your blood pressure regularly? And when you do that, if you do that once a week, if you see this time you go to the doctor, your numbers are really up there, start going at least once a week. And especially if it's really high, once a day. And be honest. Don't say, well, it was a little bit high. Tell the truth. The readings are on the thing to let you know what's normal, what's pre-hypertension, and what's hypertension. So don't try to fuddle the numbers down because you really don't want to take medicine. Change what you're eating. See if that'll help change what because half of it is in what you eat, and the other half of it is in what you do. You don't want to be a couch potato, you know. And then, you know what? I take that back. Maybe a third of it is what you eat, up to a half. A third of it is what you do, your activity level, and a third of it is genetics. Some things we just cannot change because of our genetics, right? You know, maybe your mom or dad didn't have hypertension, but their mom or dad did. And you and your sibling had it. Maybe you're the oldest and your younger sibling had it first and you never had it, and all of a sudden the doctor's saying your blood pressure number is a little bit up. I mean, age doesn't matter. The younger sibling could be dealing with it first, and then years later you're dealing with it, or vice versa. So you have to be like, who was it that came in here and said that? I think it was Badass. You have to be honest with yourself. You know your body, but you have to be honest with yourself. Now, if you're going to the doctor and and usually if it's because it's like you're nervous with the doctor's office, it might be elevated slightly. But if you're going to the doctor's office and your number is saying 170 something over 110, come on now. It ain't nervousness because you're in the doctor's office. Slow down, take some deep breaths, gather yourself, listen to what the doctor says, you know. And if you take a blood pressure medicine that's giving you certain side effects, look, most medicines are foreign to our bodies, right? So you're going to have some side effects probably. Sometimes you won't, but sometimes you will. So if one is giving you certain side effects that are really uneasy with you, that you don't like, let him know, let her know. And maybe they can come up with another medicine that has less side effects. Because they are chemicals. They're made of herbs, some of them, but they are synthetic. Some of them are chemicals. So, you know, it's not going to always jive with you initially. Sometimes it's going to take you to take it for a week to a month or so. Sometimes when you take blood pressure medicine, a side effect to some of them is swelling in the ankles, swelling in the feet. You know, that can happen with high blood pressure itself, but it also can happen with certain blood pressure medicines, right? Because what the blood pressure medicine does is it allows your vessels to dilate. And once your vessels dilate, the fluids in your vessels can sometimes leak into the tissues, which results in swelling. Okay? So we're not going to go too deep, right? We're not going to go too deep, but I'm just letting y'all know that sometimes certain medicines are going to cause side effects. Sometimes those side effects will subside within maybe some days, some weeks, maybe a few months. Your body is getting acclimated to the medicine. It's adjusting to the medicine. Now, is it keeping your pressure down to normal? It's key too. If it's not and you're having those side effects, definitely go back. Call, say, I need to come back in. This medicine I've been taking for a month. Blood pressure really slightly improved, not down to normal, and I got these side effects. Then they're going to have to try something else, right? They're going to have to try something else. Queen says, right, Catherine, I'm going to slow down a little bit so I can read the comments. I've been on here for 42 minutes. We try not to go too long. We try to hit it at an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Catherine says, I use blood pressure medicine, so my doctor tried to give me a pill because it goes with it. Because it goes with it. Pissed me off. It was for another problem, which I didn't have. You have to check. Yes, you have to check. Look, let me tell y'all something. If you don't feel right or feel comfortable, there's nothing wrong with talking to another one, you know? There's nothing wrong with talking to another doctor. Letting your doctor know you want to talk to another doctor. I know sometimes some of them have this complex that, oh, you want to talk to somebody else. But whatever makes you feel more comfortable, and whichever one, honestly, at the end of the day, whichever one you click with more. Because see, sometimes they're going to all say something that you might not agree with or might not want to hear. So you have to ride with the one that is more in line with what you feel like you have going on. Because like Catherine says, you know how your body feels. So when you tell them how your body feels, if it seems like they're not listening, they're not paying attention, sometimes you have to go to someone else. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. It's just like out here on social media. Everybody doesn't click. Sometimes you got to go to somebody else. Sometimes you got to, you know. So let them know how you feel. And if you are taking medications, let them know that, hey, these side effects are like just, they're more than what you would like to deal with. And he or she will hopefully find something else. And like I said, it is medicine. It's foreign to your body. So there might be some side effects. Unfortunately, I hate that. But, hey, think about that. Better eating, working out, rest, relaxation, stress relief, you know, focus on that mental health. And even if it's genetic, hereditary, sometimes you can keep it down normal with your activity, right? With the activities that you choose to do. With the activities that you choose to do. Let me see, you have to check these dots. Mine goes up every time. Yeah, and see, and that's why it's good to know if you have a nurse in your family, a physician's assistant that you know, have them check it while you're at home. Get a good blood pressure cuff from your pharmacy and check it yourself. Make sure that it's good. Probably get a new one every, some people say every 2 years. I think sometimes when people have certain health insurance, they will supply them with a new blood pressure cuff every 2 years. But I think pretty much if you have a good one, batteries are good, you could probably get one every 3 to 5 years to make sure that it's adequate. Because sometimes the ones that you get out of the pharmacy, you can't really, what am I trying to say? You can't really calibrate those. You know, you can't really calibrate those. Because sometimes the ones in the medical facilities have to be recalibrated. They have to get servicing and things like that. So always make sure that you have a good one that's working good. And a lot of people check both arms, right? A lot of people check both arms because there shouldn't be a significant difference between your left and your right. If you check your left and it's 90/60 and your right is 140/90, let your doctor know about that, right? Maybe about 10-point difference if it's 90/60 and then 100/72 in the other arm, that's fine. That's fine. And YouTube, again, this channel is for informational purposes only. We're talking about things that work for us, that work for people in the chat. We're talking about our life experiences of those that we know. We aren't medically, professionally, clinically diagnosing, assessing, diagnosing, treating, or evaluating anybody, okay? We're not. There's a lot of music that way, y'all, so I'm gonna go this way. We're not. We're just having conversation and dialoguing with each other. We're dropping nuggets. Again, over here in Lions Pride, we drop nuggets. And we take those nuggets and we try to share them, we research them, and we take them to our doctors to try to better our health. You know, to try to better our health. Let me see. I'm done walking. Let me see. Sometimes those with anxiety cause an elevation of blood pressure. Yes, not necessarily need medicine for blood pressure. Right. Sometimes it's the anxiety. It's called white coat syndrome. When you see a nurse or when you see a doctor, you get a little anxious. And then another thing too that I don't like, a lot of times when you go into the doctor's office, you are supposed to sit with your feet flat, right? You're supposed to sit with your feet flat, not crossed, and you're supposed to have your arm rested when they take your blood pressure. And they shouldn't be talking to you, but because they're so busy, when they're taking your blood pressure, they're usually asking you 1,000 questions. And then when you're talking, you're not really at rest, you're not really calm. Your blood pressure is usually elevated. It's just like the man in the office. If a man is in the office having his morning coffee, right? his blood pressure is probably a lot lower than by noon when he's on the phone with another coworker or another boss and they're going at it, right? His blood pressure when he was sitting down having that coffee is probably 10 to 20 points lower than when he had that conversation. Or if his wife calls and says, oh, you didn't do this, and she just starts going in and he starts going back at her. The blood pressure is probably a lot higher at that point, right? So when you go to have your blood pressure checked, and some of them are going to give you attitude, but when they start asking you questions, let them know you like to be quiet, you want your feet to be flat, and you would like to be quiet. And you're going to have some that give you those little snarky remarks. Your blood pressure is going to stay same whether your feet are flat or not. Because the reason I say feet flat is because a lot of times when you go into your doctor's appointment, what do? You sit on the examination table and your feet hang, right? Your feet hang. And if there's not a platform high enough that your feet can rest on it, your feet are kind of hanging. Your feet should be flat and you should be comfortable. And you should be quiet. And they should be quiet. They shouldn't be questioning you. But again, because they have so many people scheduled, 9 times out of 10, when the nurse puts the cuff on, unless she's doing it manually with the stethoscope in her ear and pumping the cuff, if she's just doing it with one of those machines and she puts that O2 concentration, that O2 saturation thing on your finger, she's asking you, what about this? What about that? Yada, yada, yada. And you're trying to answer, and the machine is taking your blood pressure, and you should be being silent. You should be being quiet. So that's what I mean. Like sometimes people do have white coat syndrome. It goes up a little bit. But again, if your blood pressure goes over 140, over 90, then don't just put that on anxiety. I knew a person that every time something hurt, oh, my blood pressure's up because they go get a check. Oh, because my finger was hurting, or because my toe was hurting, or because I have my headache. You know, that could be true, but you got to see what the number is. If your blood pressure is normally 120 over 80 or less, or if your blood pressure is 130 over 85, but lately you start going in and it's 150 over 92, 160 over 100, don't play. Don't play with it is what I'm telling you. Don't play with it and say that it's anxiety, okay? Don't play with it and say that it's anxiety. Because if it's anxiety, maybe you go from 130 to 140, 82 to 90. But if you're 152 over 110, don't say that that's anxiety, okay? All right, you need to get those vessels relaxed. You need to get those vessels relaxed. And again, exercise can help with that. Will it cure everybody? Will it bring everybody's down? No. Because there are so many other outside forces. Genetics. Are you stressed? What are you eating? You know, a lot of people have stomach issues. And you just see people just pouring garlic on everything. Yes, garlic is good for you. But if you have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, see, a lot of times people don't want to really say what might be going on. They want to be pushing it off. No, it ain't that. It ain't that. And even if you don't have irritable bowel syndrome, maybe you can't tolerate milk. Now, people will say, oh, I can't drink no milk. They'll say something like that. But when it comes to pay attention to what you eat, some people can't eat all of that other, the spices, certain spices. And some of those spices are good for you. Catherine says, facts, Queen, that's me, laugh out loud. Queen says, I had a friend of mine whose blood pressure would elevate every time she went to the doctor, which made it appear she had high blood pressure. And sometimes the doctor will even tell you, you know, and that's why I say you got to have someone, a doctor that you trust, a doctor that really listens, even if they're in a hurry. And because sometimes he'll ask you, well, do you have a monitor at home? Or do you go to a certain store or pharmacy and check it regularly? And if you say yes and you can show him your readings, see, that's a good thing. If you ever go and they tell you that you have hypertension, go to your local CVS, Walgreens, or whatever pharmacy you have that has a blood pressure machine. Or better yet, someone that you know who can take it manually. And get it done at least 3 to 5 times a week, especially if you're first starting to have this issue. And then when you go back, say, well, see, doc, my whatever took it, or I went to Walgreens these many days this week for 3 weeks, and this is what it was. And then that's going to help out as well. He might not look at each and every one of them, but he's going to skim through, and he's going to be like, okay, it might just be that you're anxious. You may be having some anxiety, or you may be stressed out. What are you doing before you come here? So he's going to ask you, ask you questions. He's going to ask you questions. You're so appreciated, Lions Pride. You always are caring, sharing. You're going to continue to be. Thank you, Queen, and thank you so much. Thank you for coming in and just communicating, y'all. It's just about having grown folks dialogue. It's about coming over here, helping each other when you can, how you can, and where you can. And just remembering that people are all different. Just because you may not agree with somebody on something, think about all of the things that you can relate to each other on. So many people get so upset because they don't agree on certain things. That's why I like when I go into Catherine's chat. She could be saying something and somebody can say, nah, they don't think this or they don't think that. She doesn't pop off and get mad. She doesn't pop off and get mad. She'll say, you don't think so? And and then she goes on, now unless that person pushes the issue, it's so many people that feel like if they come into your chat, you have to agree on every single thing. You don't. That's called dialogue. That's called conversing. It's called having an adult conversation. Sometimes you may learn something. And even if what you learn doesn't change your mind, sometimes it makes you more mindful of something that you may not have thought of. Okay? It makes you more mindful of something that you may not have thought of. Catherine says she checked me. I told her I have white coat syndrome, and that's a fact. I checked at home, and it's always normal. See? And so what did she say, Catherine, when you said that? A lot of times doctors are like, okay, as long as it's normal when you check it at home. And sometimes they'll tell you, well, bring me a week's worth of your readings, so that they can really see. So if they ever ask you to bring it, don't feel offended. And I'm not just talking to Catherine, I'm talking about anybody. Don't feel offended, because what they're trying to do is to see if you do have white coat syndrome. They're trying to see if coming there does make you anxious or give you anxiety, if that could be a factor in why it goes up. Catherine says, "Facts, Queen." That's me. Laugh out loud, Queen. I think I went up too far, y'all. Vanessa says, "True." Queenie says, "Yes." Some doctors schedule 4 people at the same exact. Yes, Queenie, and they're in a hurry, and the nurses are feeling overworked, and so the nurses are asking you questions. And say if you're a person who already has white coat syndrome, then they're asking you questions. That ain't helping, Catherine says, maybe that high till I leave that office. I go home, which I live right down this block. Believe I like my doctor and been this way for years. Vanessa says, so true, Queen. Yeah, and see, since because you continue to go to her, that lets me know, Catherine, that she doesn't like push anything on you or force anything on you, that she's probably listening to you. Queen says, it's been a pleasure being here tonight, Lions Pride. Love you. Blessings at Lions Pride. Catherine, Vanessa, and chat. Have the greatest weekend ever. You too, Queen. And thank you so much for always being so kind, nice, and supportive. I appreciate you. Go and play with those fur babies. You guys have a wonderful weekend as well. I really, really do appreciate you. Vanessa says, thanks, Queen, and you as well. Catherine says, good night, Queen. Yeah, so a lot of times that if you've been going to her for years, that means there's something about her, even though you may not agree on every single thing that she tells you, there's something about her that you do trust, right? You have a rapport with her, and that's an important thing too. Like I said, we're not always going to agree with each other. We're not going to always agree with the people that we have to see, whether it's your doctor, whether it's your minister, whether it's your, your friend. You're not going to always agree. Whether it's your parents, your children, your nieces and nephews, you're not going to always agree. And it's the same way when it comes to professional things. It's the same way when it comes to professional things. It's the same way when it comes to discussing your health with healthcare providers. But the thing that I always encourage is to, like Catherine said earlier, your body. You know how it reacts to certain things. But also be open when something is too high. If it's just a few points, yeah. But when it's too high and too often, especially if you're not checking at home, maybe you need to start checking it at home so that you have more of a reference point to discuss with your doctor, right? And then pay attention. Don't let the fact that you don't want to take medicine interfere with you receiving proper and adequate treatment, okay? I know a lot of people don't like to go because a lot of people have trust issues. We know the history, especially African Americans, we know the history. So you can't fault a lot of people for not having trust or being afraid or being slightly intimidated by going. That's why I always say, if you don't feel like something is right, go to someone else. Go to someone else. Go to someone else. Catherine says she wants a normal diagnosis from me. She gets then sometimes. Wait a minute, she wants a normal diagnosis from me. She gets them sometimes. Catherine. See, that's what I'm talking. Catherine a mess, y'all. She is a mess. Vanessa says, great live Lions Pride. Thank you. You're welcome, Vanessa. You're welcome. And when we speak, when people are speaking, and I'm just saying like in general, us content creators, We don't have it just right, just. We're human. We're content creators. Each and every one of us who has a channel has the propensity. We have the ability to be a content creator. Some people are just subscribers. They just want to be subscribers. Some people, they use their channels and they discuss issues, health issues, what's in the news, celebrity issues. But we're all human. So I feel like the common goal is to be able to network and help each other and to not be against each other. Because like I said, a lot of times you can see that somebody is kind of against you, but they play on your top. They think that you're nice, you're sweet, and you're easygoing, and you're not going to say something about it. There's nothing wrong with saying something about it, okay? That's why I tell y'all all the time, don't let people bother you. Don't you bother anybody, but don't let people bother you. Sometimes people who are bothered by other people, whether it's their family, their friends, their enemies, social media, church, work, whatever it is, they'll find the easiest place to bother somebody else. And oftentimes that is social media, right? Don't let stressed people stress you out. Because sometimes stressed people will end up stressing you out if you allow that. I tell y'all every live, if you find yourself in someone's misery lounge, grab your grip and go. G-Y-G-A-G. Grab your grip and go. Get out of there. Leave, okay? If you find yourself in someone's misery lounge, meaning their space, at work, in a particular area you don't need to be, go to the other break room. You know what I'm saying? At home. And when you see people that you don't click with, avoid those people. I always use the example that you have spouses, husbands and wives, or however your relationship is, whatever the dynamics are. They'll fall out with each other. They'll have an argument, right? They'll walk around the house for a whole week or two and won't say a word to each other. You have people who fall out on social media. They see each other in a chat, something virtual, and they just can't refrain from throwing subliminals and getting mad and going at each other. You see them, but you don't see them. When you're at home and you're arguing with your spouse, maybe even your children, maybe your parents or somebody in your family, or you go to the family get-togethers and you and a cousin had a falling out 2 weeks ago, y'all don't even say one word to each other. Most of the times, a lot of the times, sometimes you might, but most of the times you don't say a word to each other until grandmama get both of y'all together and go in and go off, or until auntie get y'all together and go off. You can avoid them like you don't even know them, and those are your kin folks, right? So when you see these people in these chats that you don't get along with, avoid them. Yes, there are going to be other people in the chat boosting it, but avoid them. It's not a matter of them telling you where to go where you want to go, but avoid them. But if you bother somebody, they're going to say something back, right? So don't let people bother you. Don't let stressed people stress you. And if you find yourself in someone's misery lounge, get up out of there. And if they come into your lounge, into your spot, into your place, kick them out. Kick them out. Kick them out. All right? Kick them out. You have your own spot. You have your own lounge. You have your own place. That's your rainforest. And you want all things equal, right? You don't want the equilibrium upset in your place. You want things equal. Okay? You want all things equal. So sometimes you have to kindly ask people to leave. The same way you have to just remove yourself from certain places, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Catherine says, good night, Queen. Let me see. Do you eat after this walk? Will I eat after this walk? Well, I probably get some chocolate milk. I typically drink chocolate milk after I walk. I get chocolate milk, a few. I try not to drink too much because chocolate milk has a lot of sugar. But chocolate milk kind of gives me, like walking itself gives me a boost. Once you come down, just like exercise, you might be a little worn out when you get done. But overall, you get that boost. And so at night, when I walk at night and stuff, I might drink a half a cup, like 4 to 8 ounces, maybe up to a cup of chocolate milk, or I'll get some peanut butter, something with some protein, some carbs. The chocolate milk, I don't like that it has a lot of sugar, but it's just something about it just gives me a boost. I don't know if y'all have ever heard about this. If you're taking a test, right, like an academic test, you're in school for something, grape jelly kind of boosts your mind. It kind of boosts your thinking. It kind of boosts the thought process. And so chocolate milk kind of works for me. But no, I won't eat a meal. I won't eat like a full meal after walking. When I walk, I eat my meal before. Now, every now and again, if I haven't eaten anything all day, yeah. Now, if I haven't eaten anything like since this morning or since this afternoon, then yeah. But if I come on here kind of late in the evening, like 7-ish, 6-ish, 7-ish, then most likely I'll probably, like I said, drink some chocolate milk, eat peanut butter and jelly, or maybe a snack. some type of snack, but not a full course meal. Because like I said earlier, walking usually helps you to digest the food that you've already eaten. And I can see someone wanting to eat after that, because it's kind of like you've walked it down and it's gone. And it's like you feel a little hungry. So what I'll do is eat a snack. Or again, if I haven't eaten but once that day, then yeah, I will eat something. But I try not to let it be heavy. And if it's something that might be kind of deemed as heavy, I try to make sure the portions are small. I try to make sure that the portions are small. So thank you guys for coming into this live. Remember what I said, and also remember, like I always say, peace, positivity, and prosperity, okay? We're human. Things aren't going to always be peaceful, but we want them to be peaceful over half the time, right? 50 to 90% of the time. We want it to be peaceful 100% of the time. But we know, we're living in a world with other human beings, and we're human ourselves. We aren't always just right? We're not perfect, but we try to be great. We're not perfect, but we try to be as great as we can be. All right, so without peace, there's chaos. Without positivity, there's negativity. Wherever chaos and negativity breed, live together, roam together, you fail to prosper to your fullest potential if you stay there. You fail to prosper to your fullest potential if you stay there. Good night, Vanessa. Thank you again, everyone, for coming in. Ladies, I appreciate you. My bro, Chef Finance Wine, came through here. Who was it? Catherine with Friends, Queen and Vanessa, Shawanda. I don't want to miss anybody, but I'm trying to say everybody, because you guys gave great conversation, great insight, and I appreciate that. And that's the type of live I like. I don't have to have a chat filled with people, because when you have a chat filled with people, things often go haywire. Heck, things can go haywire when you've got 5 people. But I like having people who are like-minded, on the same accord, and we're just trying to listen and learn, and you guys are trying to give me information. I learn a lot from you all. Whether it's about your personality, about some things like we've talked about, doctor's visits, doctor's appointments. How do you want to talk to your doctor? Things like that. So that's what we're over here for. That's the type of networking we want to do. And I love each and every one of you guys. Much love to you. And again, thank you for coming over here. You make the live, I make the live, together we make the live. Catherine says, good night, darling. Good night, Catherine. Good night, darling. Good night, sweetheart. And Deborah came over here. I think Deborah was first. I can't forget Deborah Catch About Faith. Okay, Catherine, if you want to, you can put in your link and Miss Deborah's link. And who else was in here? Chef, Queenin also has a channel. I don't have my other phone, y'all, because I'm walking. And Miss Catherine, if she doesn't mind, she can do it. I'll wait for a few minutes, but if she doesn't want to do it, I understand. Because I'm lazy about doing that too. I'm lazy about doing that too. And I know sometimes people usually make everybody a mod so that they can do it themselves. But I don't like having a lot of mods. I really don't like having a lot of mods. I try to go by the things that YouTube says. The people who study YouTube and things like that, I try to do the things that they say. And I listen to other content creators who have been on here for a long time. And I've often heard that a lot of blue isn't like the good thing to do. Not that you can't get monetized, because you can, but I've just heard overall. So if I've heard this from people who really work with the people at YouTube, then I think that it's for a reason. What reason, I don't really know yet. I know some people, they just make everybody a mod because some people are into it with each other. That's crazy. They make everybody a mod so that nobody will be able to block anybody. But I just like, we're not going for that over there. We're trying to be peaceful. We're trying to be kind. And, if somebody doesn't like it here, they leave. Just like wherever we go. If we don't like it somewhere, we leave. We can go into the grocery store. If that grocery store is really, really crowded and really, really getting on our nerves, even though we need their groceries, if we just get to the point of frustration, we might leave. Right? Catherine says, that's too much work right now. Laugh out loud. I'll be so tickled with Catherine, y'all. I don't blame you, Catherine. That's how I be too. It's like I be mine. It be y'all I can do to tell somebody to tap the like button. I like modding for certain people, because usually the people that I mod for, they're kind of like me. Like, they ain't into all that. Like, drop your link if you can, but I just know I don't usually have a lot of blue. So I ask, and if the mod said they don't feel like it, they don't feel like it. If they say they don't feel like it, they don't feel like it. Because I know that's how I am. Shoot. You don't feel like it. Because you got to click, you got to tap it, go click it, bring it back. That's a lot of work. So I do understand why sometimes people just, just mod up everybody. And sometimes every now and again, I'll do that. I'll just like mod up everybody so that they can do it themselves. And then I'll unmod them and go back to my regular mods. So sometimes I do that. But I totally understand. But I will see you guys on the next Let's Walk and Talk Live in Lions Pride. For anyone who catches this replay, I appreciate you. Leave a comment if you would like. If you hear any part of the conversation, contribute to the conversation. Let us know what you do when you go to the doctor. Let us know the questions that you pose to your doctor. Let us know if you feel like they listen to you. Let us know how your week went this week. Let us know what your plans are for the weekend. Let us know what you do to relax. We talk about the R words over here, right? Relaxation, relax, release, relate to the things that you can, resolve, rejuvenate, refresh, restart. Sometimes you have to revoke. Sometimes you have to revoke for your sanity and peace of mind. You have to revoke, okay? Reset, restart, regroup, and just go. Just go. Just go. So sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes you have to do that. Yes, Catherine says I give wrenches to folks I really like. Yeah, I do too. I give wrenches. Like as far as like to those that I really want to keep the wrench, I think I got 4. I usually try to keep less than 5, like 5 or less. And then, but on some days, every now and again, every once in a while, I'll just like mod several people and be like, y'all, network. After this, I'm going to unmod. But I just want you guys to network. Because like you said, Catherine, that's a lot of work. Even if you have 2 or 3 mods in the chat, and even if it's like not that many people in the chat, because you got to click, you got to go, copy, come back, paste, hit. A lot of times people don't want to do that. But, they'll do it for their own channels. And so sometimes every now and again, I'll just mod up more, and then I'll unmod. And I make it clear, because you know how some people can get, oh, she gave me a mod sticker, she took it back. No, I told you that it was so that you could network today, and I was going to take it back. So I usually just try to stick with who I have. And if they don't feel like doing it, they don't do it, right? And I also get shout outs. So every now and again, I haven't been giving them out lately, because sometimes you got to be careful about the shout outs. You got to be careful about the shout outs. So I will give them to those that I really, really know, or I've really, really been affiliated with for a while. And so when I do that, that is a way for people to be able to, connect with them. That is a way for people to be able to connect with them. So thank you, ladies, again for coming in, and gentlemen, because my brochure Finest Wine was here. Y'all please check out Catherine with Friends. Check out Deborah Captured by Faith. Check out my brochure Finest Wine. Check out Queen in the Salads. Vanessa Smith, I don't think she does content, but Vanessa is definitely a good supporter. So go over there and check her out. Subscribe. If she starts to do content, you'll already be subscribed. So anybody that I missed, it was not intentional. It definitely was not intentional. So please forgive me for that. And I will see you guys on the next Let's Walk and Talk Live in Lions Pride. Catherine says, I don't mind. I am lazy tonight. I feel you, Catherine. I feel you. It's Friday. Shoot. It's Friday. Do you. Be you. Kick back and relax and be lazy. We are due. Just like I tell everybody to exercise, make sure you take 30 minutes out of each day. 15 minutes if you can't do 30. If your schedule is so busy, you can only do 15. Whatever it is, try to do you at least 10. I'm not going to drop lower than 10 now, y'all. 10 minutes. But sometimes, it's Friday. You just want to relax. All right? So thank you guys again, and I will see you guys next time. And if you go live, I will stop through your live, okay? Okay? Now, I got to shower, y'all. So I got to get to the house and shower, okay? Because it ain't no way I'm going to walk for an hour and then stay on this phone. You hear me? And stay on this phone. We got to get in the shower, okay? Bye, y'all.